Hello friends, welcome back to my channel eBiology and Stuff. Friends, as you're seeing that I'm working hard and I'm searching many things for you and I'm preparing PPTs and then I'm talking with you. I'm trying to solve or resolve your problems as early as possible. So for that, please subscribe the channel. It is completely free. That is not going to charge a rupee and it is completely free, so please subscribe the channel and like the video. So from the previous section only of the unit 2, we are continue after the nucleus. Today we are going to see mitochondria. As we know, after nucleus the important cell organelle is mitochondria, and this mitochondria is the much more important organelle of the cell in terms of metabolic activities. There are many enzymes, there are many things which are there only in mitochondria which controls metabolic activities of the cell. So today we are going to study this mitochondria. Mitochondria, as you can see, the structure of mitochondria, it is not very simple. It have outer membrane, then inner membrane which is in folded form. It have its own DNA. The space between outer and inner membrane is known as intermembrane space or perimitochondrial space. The inner membrane also have some particles that is known as FOF1 particle, and there are 70 S type of ribosome. This is the general structure of mitochondria. Now we will see everything detail about the mitochondria. What mitochondria is a semi-autonomous having hollow sac like structure. You can see here it is a hollow sac like structure, a bag like structure, a hollow sac like structure, and present in all eukaryotic cells except mature RBCs. As we have seen in previous videos that during the maturity RBCs lost their nucleus and cellular organelles. So mitochondria is not present in mature RBCs of mammals and sieve tubes of phloem. The main work of sieve tube is conduction, so there is no need of that. They act as a capillary. So here the sieve tubes of phloem, they don't have mitochondria. These are the two exceptions. Otherwise it is present in all eukaryotes. And what is present in prokaryotes? The mesosomes, as I already discussed in previous videos. The link I am giving in description box, you can check it out. That in prokaryotes or in bacteria, there is a structure called mesosome, that is the folding of plasma membrane. It is analogous to mitochondria in eukaryotes. What is analogous? They are functionally same, but the structurally they are different. So mesosomes perform the same function as mitochondria in eukaryotic cells. Mitochondria, there are many names for mitochondria like chondriosomes, chondroplast, plasmosomes, plastosomes and plastochondrion. Chondriosome, chondroplast, plasmosome, plastosomes and plastochondrion. The collectively mitochondria are known as chondriome. Don't get confused chondriome with chondriosome. When single mitochondria is there, it is known as chondriosome, and when a group of mitochondria are there, they are collectively known as chondriome. Okay. Then the first who observed these mitochondria, so he was the Kolliker in 1880. He observed mitochondria in striated muscles, our voluntary muscles of insects. What he observed? He observed mitochondria as in granular form. The chondrion word of mitochondria, the meaning of chondrio is granule. Okay, so Kolliker, what he observed? He observed mitochondria as granule. And where he observed? He observed in voluntary or striated muscles of insect. What he named at that time? Sarcosome. As we already know कि sarco is related to muscle, so he named it as a sarcosome. Then in 1882, after 2 years, Fleming called them phyla. Why? Because he observed mitochondria as thread. Now the mito, the meaning of mito is thread. Okay, so in 1882 Fleming observed them as thread and named them as phyla. Then in 1890, after 10 years of its first observance, Altman called them bioplast. Bioplast. So bioplast is also the another name of mitochondria. After the 7 years, C. Benda finally named it as mitochondria, and it is continuing it same as it is. So in 1897, C. Benda was the scientist who named it mitochondria. So if question is ki who observed first mitochondria, then it is Kolliker. And who named mitochondria first? It is C. Benda. So never confused between the things. Then the number of mitochondria. Actually the number of mitochondria depends on the metabolic activity of the cell. If cell is in high metabolic state, like germination of seeds, there is high metabolism going on inside the seed, so there will be number of mitochondria. Okay, and if less metabolism is there, then there will be less number of mitochondria inside the cells. After this also there are some cells are there which have only one mitochondria. Any of their state, any of their life cycle state, they have only one mitochondria, and these are microasterias, that is a green algae, trypanosoma, it is a protozoa, chlorella, again a green algae, Chlamydomonas, it is also a green algae, and Micromonas, also a green algae. They have only one mitochondria inside their cell, and that is the minimum number of mitochondria. So there might be any questions like a minimum number of mitochondria, single mitochondria is present in. So you will be knowing now microasterias, trypanosoma, chlorella, Chlamydomonas and Micromonas. Now what are the maximum number of mitochondria? So there are 5 lakh, up to 5 lakh mitochondria can be present in flight muscle cells. What are flight muscle cells? These are the base cells present in base of the wings, and they helps in flapping and the rotation of wings, these flight muscle cells. So you can think कि flapping and rotation of the wings will require high metabolism. As I told you, the number of mitochondria are more in high metabolism cells. So here they may have up to 5 lakh of mitochondria in flight muscle cells. In giant amoeba called chaos, they have up to 50,000 mitochondria. You remember this flight muscle cell. This is much more important. Now in human sperm 25 mitochondria are there. In kidney cells 300 to 400 mitochondria are there. In liver cells 1000 to 1600 mitochondria are there. So you can see here all are the high metabolism cells, or the cells with high metabolic activities. So sperm 25, kidney 300 to 400, and in liver cells 1000 to 1600. The average size of mitochondria is 0.5 to 1 micron. Their length may be 110 micron meter, but the average size is 0.5 to 1 micron. Now the smallest size mitochondria is in yeast cells. This question have been asked many times, that the smallest sized mitochondria is present in. So the answer is yeast cell, and the size is 0.1 micron, and the largest sized mitochondria is present in oocyte of Rana papiens, and the size is 2040 micrometer. This question also have been asked many times, that the largest sized mitochondria is present in. So the answer is oocyte of Rana papiens. Rana papiens is a type of frog, a leopard frog, and the size is 2040 micrometer. So remember it, 0.5 to 1 micrometer is the average size, but the smallest is present in yeast cell and the largest mitochondria is present in oocyte of Rana papiens. Now we will see the structure of mitochondria in detail. These all notes, pictures I have taken from different websites and mainly from the CBSE NCERT book of biology. Here you can see very clearly a hollow sac like type of structure. This is the outer membrane and this one is the inner membrane, which have foldings. Okay, the inner membrane is having foldings. Whatever this space is there, this space is known as intermembranous or perimitochondrial space, and it is about 6 to 10 nanometer wide. The outer membrane is especially permeable because of some integral proteins present in them called porins. So what outer membranes have? Outer membranes have porins. Because of that they are especially permeable, and the inner membrane is selectively permeable. Now what is the difference? Selectively permeable membrane will allow only selective molecules to enter inside, and especially permeable allows many ions and many smaller molecules to enter inside. Okay, so the difference is the outer membrane have especially permeability and inner membrane have selective permeability, and the reason is outer membrane have porins. What is the meaning of integral proteins? Integral proteins are the proteins which are present throughout the membrane. When we will study the structure of membrane, you will be knowing this very clearly. Now whatever these folds are there, folds of inner membrane, these are known as cristae. Cristae in animals. Okay, what we know them? Cristae. Cristae in animals we call them as cristae, and in plants these folds are known as tubuli or microvilli. The foldings of inner membrane or conclusions of inner membrane, these foldings are known as cristae in case of animal cells and tubuli or microvilli in case of plant cells. The ground substance of mitochondria is known as matrix. What it is known as? Matrix, in which the DNA is suspended without any surrounding membrane. As we have seen in a nucleus, we were having the membrane, but here we don't have any membrane around this, and this is directly dissolved in the suspended in the matrix. The face of the side of inner membrane which is towards the matrix is known as M phase, and which is towards the cytoplasm or perimitochondrial space is known as C phase. So this portion will be known as C phase and the inner portion will be known as M phase. So the side which is facing matrix is M phase and the side which is facing perimitochondrial space is the C phase. We will see now inner membrane in pretty detail. So now you can see here this portion, okay, the portion which is here, this is the outer membrane. So this portion is facing the matrix, so it will be the M phase, and this portion is facing the perimitochondrial space. This is outer membrane and this is inner membrane, so the space between them is perimitochondrial space. So this membrane, the portion of this membrane will be known as M phase and this will be the C phase. Now the speciality of M phase is these particles. These particles are known as oxysomes or F1 particle or elementary particle or Fernandez-Moran particle or FOF1 particle. Okay, oxysomes, F1 particle or elementary particle or Fernandez-Moran particle or FOF1 particle. These oxysomes helps in ATP synthesis during electron transport chain. Okay, and the FO portion, the base is FO and this FO and F1. So these FO portions, these portions have enzymes of Krebs cycle. This FO, these portions have the enzymes of Krebs cycle. Got it? So these are present in the M phase of the inner membrane, helps in ATP synthesis and have the enzyme of Krebs cycle. Now, what is the semi-autonomous nature of mitochondria? It have 3 points. The first, it have 70S ribosome, then it have DNA molecule and it have ATP molecule to provide energy. Okay, 70S ribosome, DNA and ATP. The DNA molecule of mitochondria are rich in GC ratio. GC, guanine, cytosine, they are rich in GC ratio. And for what DNA is present? To replicate and to form the mRNA. Coding we all know, right? From DNA to mRNA, mRNA to protein. So what? DNA are going to synthesize mRNA and they also replicate to be divided in their daughter cells. So 70S ribosomes are there, DNA molecules are there, ATP molecules to provide energy is there. Why they are semi-autonomous? Why they are not completely autonomous? The reason is they have only 70S type of ribosome. They are dependent on cytoplasm or nucleus to synthesize some type of proteins. They cannot synthesize the complete requirement of mitochondria. So some proteins should be synthesized inside the nucleus, then they transported inside the mitochondria to perform the function. So they are semi-autonomous, they are not completely autonomous. There is one theory given by Altman. What is this theory? This is endosymbiotic origin. Endo means inside and symbiotic means the two things live together and helping each other. Inside symbiosis. So how this can be explained? What Altman states, he states that mitochondria was a free living aerobic bacteria in ancient time, and during the process of evolution it enters anaerobic cells, inside the anaerobic cells and stabilized as mitochondria. Okay, so mitochondria was what? A aerobic free living bacteria which enters inside anaerobic cells and stabilized as mitochondria. Got it? How this theory can be stated as true? Because it have its own DNA, it can survive separately. So it was a free living aerobic bacteria which enters anaerobic cells and start living symbiotically. Why endo? Because it enters the anaerobic cell in living inside the anaerobic cells and both are living symbiotically, and then it becomes mitochondria. As it have its own DNA molecule, it can divide by fission, binary fission, into two daughter cells in which this DNA is divided in two daughter cells with equal amount, and after fusion they can form a single mitochondria cells like in bacteria. So this also states the same thing, no? Because bacteria divides by binary fission and the same thing is happening in mitochondria, so it also supports this theory. Now the chemical composition of mitochondria. It have protein 65 to 70% as it is the site of metabolism, so maximum things are going to be enzyme, and enzymes are protein, so the maximum portion is 65 to 70% is protein. Then lipids, 25 to 30% are lipids, 90% phospholipid, 10% cholesterol and vitamin A, etc. You just remember 25 to 30% are the lipids, RNA 5 to 7% and DNA 2 to 5%. Now the enzymes of mitochondria, the most important things you need to remember. The outer membrane have monoamine oxidase, glycerophosphatase, acyltransferase, phospholipase A. Now you are going to question how to remember these names. So you don't remember the names, you just remember the mechanism. Now you know that outer membranes, they helps in transport. So the mostly enzymes are going to the proteins which helps in transport, like glycerophosphatase, acyltransferase, phospholipase A, monoamine oxidase. They are just modifying the things and helping in their mechanism. Inner membrane is the site of electron transport chain. So the things of ETC, electron transport chain, will be there in inner membrane, like cytochrome B, C1a, Ca, then NADH dehydrogenase, succinate dehydrogenase, ubiquinone, flavoprotein, ATPase, all the things from the electron transport chain. Then perimitochondrial space have adenylate kinase and nucleoside diphosphokinase. These kinases are for to add phosphate group. So the things which want to enter from perimitochondrial space to inner membrane, to inner side or the matrix, they have to modify. So these kinases are adding phosphate group to them and also helping in GTP or ATP synthesis. Inner matrix helps in the Krebs cycle. So the enzymes of Krebs cycle will be there in the inner matrix, like pyruvate dehydrogenase, citrate synthase, aconitase, dehydrogenase fumarase, alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase, malate dehydrogenase. These all are the enzymes from the Krebs cycle. So remember the mechanism: inner membrane, electron transport chain, inner matrix, Krebs cycle. So the enzymes of both. Then kinases in the perimitochondrial space, and oxidases, phosphatases, transferases and lipases. What? Oxidases, phosphatase, transferase and lipase in the outer membrane. This is the function, or these are the functions of mitochondria. So we will start with outer membrane. As we have seen, the enzymes are there, so they are helping in transport of the proteins or shuttling pyruvate into mitochondria. Yeah, helps in pyruvate is synthesized by glycolysis and in the cytoplasm, then it is settled inside the mitochondria where it is undergoes Krebs cycles to convert into acetyl CoA, then enters into the Krebs cycle. We are going to see in detail in next videos. Then inner membrane have foldings. So the cristae increase the surface area volume ratio. If inner membrane is not having folded, then what will be there? There will be a less surface area to volume ratio. Because of cristae's, more surface area to volume ratio is there. Inner membrane have the enzymes of electron transport chain and ATP synthase, so helps in these processes. Matrix have the enzyme of Krebs cycles and the pH which is required to perform the Krebs cycle, so helps in them. Then intermembrane space, right? So there is a small space to quickly accumulate protons. For what protons are needed? Yes, to maintain the first thing the pH, and second thing the intermembrane or the potential of the membrane. So this small space helps in accumulation of the protons. Now we will see another functions of mitochondria, other functions of mitochondria. The mitochondria are called powerhouse or storage batteries or ATP mills. Okay, so powerhouse we all know. These are also known as storage batteries. Why? Because they are storing ATP, and ATP mills. They are also known as ATP mills. Okay, as they have the enzymes of oxidative phosphorylation, they can synthesize ATP. Now they also helps in synthesis of steroids, cytochromes, chlorophyll and some amino acids. Now mitochondria also regulate the calcium ion concentration inside the cells. How? Because of the porins and the intermembrane potential. Now these are the site of thermogenesis. What is thermogenesis? It is the heat synthesis. It is the mitochondria is helping in ATP synthesis. So yeah, that's why it is helping in thermogenesis, the production of heat. Now yolk nucleus, a mitochondrial cloud and Golgi bodies controls vitellogenesis. What is vitellogenesis? It is the synthesis of yolk or yolk deposition, and for this they need energy, so they have mitochondrial cloud there in the yolk nucleus, which helps in yolk synthesis or the process of vitellogenesis. Now these term you might have seen in many entrance exam, that is the Nebenкern. What is Nebenкern? Nebenкern is the middle piece of sperm. Okay, so during the process of spermiogenesis, here you can see the structure of sperm. This is the middle piece or the Nebenкern of the sperm. This is very much rich in mitochondria. We have seen 25 mitochondria are there, na? So this is very rich in mitochondria. And how they are helping? They are helping in swimming of the sperm during the process of spermiogenesis. They are helping in swimming of the sperm. So in many entrances you might have seen the middle piece of the sperm is having. So what it is having? Mitochondria, or Nebenкern is rich in mitochondria. Okay, so these were the functions of mitochondria. This was the all details about mitochondria, and these are the references from which I have taken the data. And friends, please subscribe the channel. As I told you, it is completely free. Like the video and please comment which point you are not clear with and which point you want me to explain in detail. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.